Please, just I beg your pardon, but we want to go live to the live feed there at Ojota to hear what is being said there. Just give us a second and we'll be back to you, please.
Are they telling us to go out of this?
Wait, do you know what hello? Do you know what do you know what I want to do? I want to bring the area commander now. Let him address you.
Yes, listen to me. I want the key leaders of this protest.
Okay, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
We are going to have a meeting by 11 o'clock. We don't want to see anybody now. We have had the president. When we have a meeting at 11 o'clock, we will get back to everybody. We take our decision.
Now, before we may have a meeting by 11 o'clock.
Yes.
Sir, with all due respect, Agbaya Gale, that's what I know. They are trigger happy. Trigger happy. You understand? I can assure you, no only 4 points because of Magbalagani. But over in Bombi, I don't want you tear gas. You see, everybody will disperse here. True or false?
Listen to me. I cannot take decision.
We are not saying
no, let him wait. When we have our meeting, when he say anything, we will now respond to him.
All right, so what you're hearing now is between the protesters and anti-protesters.
So this individual went to Ojota and said, as the leader of the movement, the police are now trigger happy. And, you know, they needed to call it off now. The protest is over. And people were like, no, we are going to have a meeting at 11 o'clock. We are going to, yeah. But did you see that? I mean, the Kano. That's what they did to them. They killed 12 of them yesterday. I managed to put, I did put one of the clip that is not graphic. You get what I mean now? Like, it's not graphic, it's all right, it's enough. Just to show to you what it was like being shot by the Nigerian police and then being rescued by your other fellow citizens as the most they could, right? Now I'll show you, just little. But before we continue watching that, I want you all to listen to this Gen Z and what she just kind of come by. It's like a discovery for her. And she feels like, oh, ma, it is time for all of you at this point to know that if you are fighting for your freedom from the hands of the criminals that are holding you down, you might actually need to understand in a deeper way, right? Understand that the reason why you can't win is because those you are fighting, they are just mere puppets. And also, from this message, it is to remind all of you that calling Russia or calling America, United Nations or Britain, because the criminals in Nigeria are killing you, is futile. It is like reporting devil to your own grandfather, grandpa devil. It's a waste of time. You would have to hold your own destiny in your own hands and face your fear. Become selfish too. Your leaders are selfish. Your elites are selfish. Everything that makes them comfortable, including looting and stealing from you. If they have to lose any penny from that, they become uncomfortable. When the elites, when they steal from the poor, they generally call it a business, you know. But when the poor fight back, they call it violence. They want you to endure. They want you to understand and sacrifice why they party. So you need to be selfish with your demand too. And there's no white man to look up to. And I love it that Gen Z is saying it. So sit back, relax, enjoy this.
In the light of this protest that is going on, there's something I want us to remember. Our leaders are not our problem. Our leaders are our problem. And the thing is that in this Nigeria, many of us are not even aware to these facts. And I feel like unless we become aware, we will not really know what we are fighting against. See, this country is in oppression because our leaders are puppets. Now, who are they puppets to? They are puppets to the people that created this country. I always tell people, if the white men never came, there would be no Nigeria. Think about the history of Nigeria. From the amalgamation of the Northern and Southern Protectorates by Lord Lugard, then they named this place Nigeria. This Nigeria was originally meant to be a business. That is why we don't prosper, because originally this was meant to be a business, a money-raising enterprise, before they now converted it to a country and then merged all the tribes together and gave it a name called Nigeria and then appointed leaders. So if we lose sight of this information, we forget. That's why our presidents and our governors can't do anything, because they are not even, our president self is not even the one in power. And the way the colonial masters did it, they manipulated it in such a way that you don't have anybody to meet. Like this, we are going out to the streets now to protest. We are going to call on the president, Tinubu. But you don't actually know that Tinubu is somebody's boy. He's answering to somebody. And that person, those people are the actual people that we need to fight. And I'm not saying that we should not hold our leaders accountable. We should. But you should know that on top of that, our leader, there is another leader that is even dictating what they will do. That's why this country is not a democracy. It is not, like, anybody that thinks that we're in a democracy is blind. This is not a democracy. Okay, take for instance a place in Zamfara, right? Today, I saw a TikTok of a girl saying that if you see the security personnel they deployed against the protesters, so Nigerians has this kind of security and people are still being killed in Zamfara, right? Places like Zamfara and all these northern states that have gold, keyword gold, all those places, when they are in their house, people will come, scatter their house, they'll run away, and there's so much insecurity there. Meanwhile, we have battalions of army. Why is it that the government don't dispatch any battalions of army, police to the places where they are actually needed? Why? Because they need that insecurity. They need that, disorderliness, so that the higher ups, the colonial masters, can mine gold. Like, unless we, all of us, start seeing this thing I'm saying, we will not really, really be free, honestly. Our problems are not just our leaders, it's the people on top of them. You see the seat of Queen Elizabeth's throne in UK that is made of solid gold. Where did that gold come from? It came from Africa. It came from Zamfara, from Nigeria. Do you think that they will be able to peacefully mine those gold if people were peacefully living in their house? No. That's the same thing that's happening in Congo today. They will cause disorderliness, they will cause havoc so that you run away and then they mine it. And the reason why the government don't say anything is because the government is their puppets. All these money we get from crude oil, palm oil, all our natural resources, where do you think the money goes to? Our leaders, our presidents, senators, they eat most of the money, but all of the money doesn't go to them. It goes to the white people that are behind this country. Like, unless all of us understand it, like, you need to understand what I'm saying. Like, you need to because for us to see any kind of freedom, we must trace it back to the roots. As at before 1901, there was no Nigeria. Nigeria is a social construct that white men created for their own gain. So far as we are still living under them, we will never see freedom. Because the real reason why they even created this country of Nigeria is to profit them. Nigeria started from the Royal Niger Company, where they used to buy and sell palm produce before they turned it to a country. So while all of us are out in the street demanding for our freedom, I want you to remember that our leaders are not the only demons we have to fight. There is another demon on top of them, which is the people that created this country, which is the people that are still benefiting from this country, and which is the people that made it in such a way that you don't even see them. They are behind the scene, controlling the strings. You don't see them. If I come out now and tell anybody that Oyibo people are the reason why we are suffering, you tell me which Oyibo. By the way, Oyibo people have left Nigeria since 1960. But they did not leave. They didn't leave. They are still controlling everything here. The only thing is that they appointed leaders that are subject to them. They appointed presidents that are their boy, so that they can control the president. And by controlling the president, they can control the economy. And by controlling the economy, they can control you. That's what is happening. So unless everybody is aware of this fact, we won't go far, because you fight the president who is just their boy, who is just doing what they asked him to do. So that's the main, like, in everything, that's the main thing. That's the main thing. Our leaders have another leaders on top of them, and those are the real people who are controlling this place and the affairs of this place. And until all of us get emancipated mentally and physically, we will not, any change we look for will only be on the surface. It will never go deep. And look at Kenyans, Kenya people. They know this thing I'm saying. They are aware of it in their country, and that's why when they fight with awareness. They don't just fight poverty and hunger. They fight for their own independence, because they know that they are not truly free. Just like us in Nigeria, we are not free. We are given the illusion of independence, the illusion of democracy, but we are not free. This is not a democracy, because if this is really a democracy, that president is not supposed to be ruling us by now. We know who we voted for. We do. But because this is not a democracy, that's why that man is there. That's why when he was contesting for election, he came out and said, it is my turn, because he knows the dues he has paid. He knows the godfathers that he has worked for, and he knows that this country doesn't belong to us. Your vote doesn't count here. It doesn't count. He knows the true people that are running this country, and he knows that he has paid his dues and it is his turn. That's why he came out and said, it is my turn. And truly, it became his turn. So unless all of us become aware of our real enemies, this war we will fight. We may have some victory, but we will never be truly free. And that's why I don't even ever understand people that will always give Oyibo people special treatment. You people are daft. Oh God, I don't even want to insult anybody. Like, the way that if you see an Oyibo person in Nigeria and you go and start treating them as if they are God, if you go to their country and they see you, a black person, would they treat you like that? Wouldn't they be racist to you? Wouldn't they be avoiding you because of your color? But if they come here because you're a white person, you go to behave like as if you've never seen a white person in your life. All these things are systems that they created. That's why we are so Eurocentric. That's why people want to bleach their skin. That's why everybody wants to be fair-skinned. That is why. These are the problems. We have to go to the roots. And the real roots of the matter is that this our president is not our only issue. The person standing behind him, the people, and those people, I will call their names, they are the British government, the people that colonized us, the people that colonized Nigeria and converted this tribes, African tribes, merged all of us together and called us Nigeria. Those people are the real monsters that we are meant to be fighting. And the reason why it's so difficult to fight them is because they don't have a face. They operate behind our leaders. Our leaders are their puppets and they use them to achieve their goals. So when the issue starts, you hold your leader responsible, not knowing that your leader is only answering to his own leader. So until we are aware, our journey is still long. It's still long. We must emancipate ourselves completely from all the influence of colonial slavery. That is when we start. Until we start fighting those people, the real people, the real cause of our problem, all our money is going to their pockets. We will never be free.
Thank you so much, dear sister. And for context, just know that when she said the people that are behind the African leaders are faceless, yeah, she's right. You know, when they say, okay, who are those people we should now go and fight then if we don't know them? You know them, but you just can't put a face to them. As this person is the British one, or that one is the IMF one. No. But how do you then deal with it? Since you have now discovered, you see, the younger generation of, Nigerians, they are becoming more and more politically conscious. And then, yes, they are freeing their minds from the colonial mentality, the colonial enslavement. You see what is going on in the UK now? We are now having our own far-right fight in the UK. The people who believe that the immigrants are the problem. Now, you know the problem. Now, initially, they will tell you that illegal immigrants in these countries, they are the problems. They have to go back to Africa, go back to where they come from. They are not here legally. And that is what somebody like myself, who is a legal immigrant living in the UK. But you see those far-right people, they don't give a damn about your British passport, French passport, American this or that. They don't give a damn. Once they have that political will, right now in the UK, by the way, right now in the UK, they don't have the political will in the UK. The UK government is fighting it so bad, but it's spreading like wildfire. They are going after anyone that they consider immigrants. Whether you are black or Asian or Pakistani or Chinese, so it doesn't matter. Whether you are a British, Nigerian or black, they are attacking just anyone. And a lot of people right now are living in fear in England, where all these things are happening. To the point that the Muslims too, since they don't want to be slaughtered, the Muslims too are grouping themselves. Initially, what caused this was that one deranged person stabbed 3 kids and killed them. So everybody was enraged. The person was arrested. And then the next thing, the far-right guys, they picked it up. They don't give a damn about the the children killed. No, they don't care. But how could an immigrant, how could a black person, or how could this person come and kill somebody, right? Boom. The Muslims are the problem. The immigrants are the problem. They don't even want to know whether you are British or you are Nigerian. Once they come to your city, when they see you on the street, now people are living in fear. Now you run away. See, we left the contraption to places where we believe that we will have safety and comfort. Then we are now watching our brethren back in Nigeria being slaughtered and being destroyed by criminal politicians in that country. Successive criminal politicians in that country. So some of us will know that one day we may wake up in this Europe. They don't have to deport us. Now we could deport ourselves. If your children come back from school and they say some far-right people, you don't even know if your next neighbor is a far-right. He's reading the news right now in Stoke, in Newcastle, in all these places. And he's waiting for the day he's going to come to their city and he can show their own far-right thinking, their hatred towards you. Now, you are seated comfortably in this abroad. You are promoting the criminals that are destroying our people, forcing them to leave Nigeria. All these places that we are living to now, with your British passport, see, with your American passport, nobody needs to deport you. Now you go deport yourself out of here. You know something? If you are living in the UK and you say, well, we are moving to America, they are pushing that in America too. When you get to America and you're like, oh, no, I don't want to, I'm moving to Canada. Oh, I'm moving back to Europe. I'm moving to Germany. Oh, I'm moving here or there. Now, you see, at the end of the day, with your British American passport, you probably would have to consider, I'm going back to Odogbolu. So what's going to be your situation then? Because it is happening. You need to be alive. So if you want to fight your criminal leaders, you have to fight the entire establishment. The entire system has to go. It's those enablers that allow those who are operating behind the scene to control them. They loot from you. They bring them to the West. Then they come to the West to come and borrow the loot at highest interest rate that they don't even give to them in Europe or America. So the criminal Africans, they loot their people, bring the money here, come here to borrow the money at exorbitant exchange rate that they will pay for 100 years. Then they get the money to Africa, then they loot the money again, they bring them back here. And then these guys go back to Africa to give us charity, to sponsor how to end polio, how to end malaria, how to end mosquito, how to end this, give them handouts. It is that system that has to go. That's why I keep saying, break it up and save lives. Farotimi, please help me.
All right. So now we have a president in the midst of crippling, grinding, biting inflation. The president and the National Assembly voted 21 billion to renovate, hear me, renovate the vice president's house. 70 billion naira was voted to the National Assembly members to buy SUVs as 160 million naira for each one for senators and House of Reps members. 4 billion naira was voted to renovate Dodan Barrack. Another 3 billion for Aguda House. 5 billion was given to the Presidential Task Force, a Tax Reform Committee, less than 20 members. 1.5 billion was given to purchase cars for the First Lady, an office unknown to our Constitution. Judges, for job well done, got 300% salary increase. I'm not complaining, no. I'm not saying judges should starve. 5 billion was budget for presidential fleet. At least one repo, they will buy fuel now, have you? Every senator gets 21 million naira monthly. No, don't worry. I didn't forget the reps. 13.5. This government voted it. We are going to be spending 15 trillions to pave the road with gold from Lagos to Calabar. And your president's friend is the one building the road, Uncle Chagori. Yeah. Unlike when they used to go to Mina, if they wanted to speak with the occupiers of Aso Rock, these days they go to Uncle Chagori in France so that he can speak with his friend, the same one who gave him the road. And yet, we are told to calm down. We are told to calm down. Where is the money taken from the subsidy? If you say there is no more subsidy, but then we now know that there is subsidy. When you take all of this together, and you then factor in the multidimensional sufferings of the victims of the system that would allow all of these, you can then begin to have an inkling, an understanding of the anger that you are seeing on the streets. Hopelessness births chaos. Hopelessness births chaos. Give the people hope. It's not about letting the poor breathe, because they certainly aren't breathing. You've choked them. But give them hope, not illusion, hope. Hope, real hope, substantial.